Hi, everybody. Welcome to Diamond Secrets Revealed. Does size really matter? Right? Today, we're going to be talking about diamond carat weight, the shapes, and how to choose the right size, shape diamond for you. So, my name is Jennifer Wyszynski. I'm a GIA gemologist, jewelry designer, and appraiser, and I love to talk and teach about all the different gemstones, especially diamond. So hopefully being together more with your partner or your loved one is giving you more time for love than war. So maybe some of you have been putting off buying that diamond engagement ring or anniversary gift because of our current situation. But for when you're ready, let's talk about diamond size and what sizes and shapes matter most. I'll also give you tips on how to choose the right size or shape diamond for you. So, how did the carat system start? How did it first begin? So the modern carat system started with the carob seed. So early gem traders used the small uniform seeds as counterweights in their balance scales. So the carat is the same gram weight in every corner of the world. So it was something that was universally understood. Now the abbreviation for carat weight is CT. And you don't want to get that confused with carat, that starts with a K, and the abbreviation is KT, and that's for metal fineness. So that's for gold. So you'll see something stamped 14 KT or 14 carat, 18 carat, 24 carat, whatever its fineness may be. And then just a little bit of a fun fact that I'm going to post in the comments afterwards. A diamond carat weight in 1 pound is 2,268 carats per pound. So I calculated how much I weighed in carats to see how many diamonds can make me up. So it was about 355,000 carats. So if you would make me up in diamond, that's how much you would need. So I'm going to put that calculator in the comments later on, and you can put in the comments how much you weigh in diamonds. That would be fun. So 1 carat of diamond is equal to 100 points. Anything less than 1 carat is referred to in points, like 0.25 carat is said as 25 points, or you can just say 1/4 carat. So how do we get the precise carat weight? To get the precise weight of a diamond, you want to place it on an electronic scale similar to this. And when you put your diamond on the scale, the weight will go to the 1,000th decimal. So it'll be 3 zeros after the decimal point. And if the last number is a 9, in the trade, what they do is they will round it up. So the carat weight is always expressed to the 100th. So that's 2 decimal points, two numbers after the decimal point. So if it's 1.039 carat, you'll say it as 1.04 carat. If you have a mounted stone, so something that's set as a ring, earrings, anything in metal, the weight is always approximate and is calculated insofar as the mounting allows. Because some mountings, you can't get that exact measurement. If you have a diamond that's in a bezel where the metal goes all around the stone, you can't touch the edges or that girdle of the diamond. Also, if it's in a mounting where it's closed at the bottom, so like it forms a V, you can't get the exact depth. So for this, you use what is called a leverage gauge, and you measure it in millimeters. So I have my leverage gauge here. So for a round shape, you want to measure its diameter. And you measure it in a couple of spots because round diamonds aren't always exact millimeters across. So you measure it in up to 4 spots or so. And you want to get the lowest number measurement So that's the minimum diameter, and then the maximum, so whatever the highest number is. Because what you do is you take those two numbers, you add it, and you get the average of the diameter. And then you turn it on its side and you get the top and bottom, which is called the depth. And for fancy shapes, they have a length, a width, and then a depth. So I have my ring here. So what you do is you open up the gauge and you put the calipers on the top and bottom to get the length. Turn it over, you get the width, and then from the side you get the top and the bottom, so you get the depth. So that's how you use the leverage gauge to get the approximate measurements of your stone. And each diamond is calculated using the appropriate formula depending on the shape. Each shape will have its own formula to estimate the weight. So for both rounds and fancies, there are adjustments that are made for girdle thickness. So that's that line that separates the top and the bottom. So if it's too thick, you have to add some sort of adjustment factor to it. And any kind of bulging, if you have a square or rectangular stone, you can have what's called bulging, which means the bottom bows out a little bit. And this is some extra weight that can't be accounted for when you're measuring directly, because usually you want a nice linear V shape, nice line. So the easiest way to calculate the approximate weight is to find an online gemstone calculator. I use this one called Omni Calculator that I found online. And you can just plug the numbers into it and it'll calculate the estimated weight for you, including those adjustment factors. There are also estimated millimeter charts, and you can find those online as well. And those just take into consideration the diameter, if it's round, or length and width, if it's a fancy shape. And this assumes that the depth is ideal, which isn't always the case. So you can have a 6.5 millimeter round, which is ideal for a 1 carat. But if your depth is too shallow, so a little bit squatty, or if it's too deep, so a little bit long, it may actually weigh less if it's shallow or more if it's deep. So that depth measurement from top to bottom is an important factor, especially when calculating larger stones, because each point matters when determining that value. This is why a lab certificate or something that's independently weighed and graded and measured, something like a GIA certificate, is very important, because they examine the stone loose so they can put it directly on the scale, and they have all the instruments to give the exact measurements and angles of your diamond. This way there's no guessing, there's no approximating. You have the exact measurements, weight, angles, everything right in that one independent piece of paper. So why is it so important to get that exact weight, right? Who really cares? But in the diamond world, there's what's called magic weights. And to get the list price of a diamond, every jeweler, every appraiser uses a diamond trade pricing guide. And the list prices are separated by weight category. Then it will separate it by color and clarity like a chart. But the weight is really the dominating factor of how the prices are separated. So the magic numbers are 50 points, then you have 70 points, then 90 points, then 1 carat, then 1.5 carats, then 2, 3, 4, and 5 carat, and then it jumps to 10. So each one is a range, like 50 points is 50 to 69, and then 70 points is 70 to 89, 90 points is 90 to 99, and then so on and so forth. So once you hit the weight of the magic number, then the price per carat increases. And the increase is not linear. It changes depending on the color, the clarity, the popularity, how high in demand it is, and of course supply. So there used to be a trick to buy slightly underneath that magic weight, so people would get a 97-point diamond, which can look exactly like the 1 carat. But those stones that were slightly less than the magic weight became higher in demand because everybody was looking for those, right? Everyone was trying to do that little trick. So the price break isn't as much as it used to be. But if budget is tight, I would recommend going slightly underneath the magic number. And if you can get around the same millimeter size, that would be good too. This way it can look very similar. But you want to be very careful because you don't want to take this magic number hack too far. Using the 1 carat as an example with a 6.5 millimeter diameter, you don't want to deviate too much from that ideal 6.5 millimeter measurement. For a stone that weighs a lot less, say it weighs like 89 points or 90 points or so, but it has that same 6.5 millimeter diameter, then the depth is too shallow. So when you measure from top to bottom, it's not the ideal depth. Who cares, right? I'm getting a stone that looks big from the top. Well, because of diamonds optics, because of those optical properties, it gives what's called a fisheye. And a fisheye is actually the reflection of the girdle inside your stone. So you will see what looks like a watery ring inside your stone, and you're like wondering what is that? I don't know. But it's actually the reflection of your faceted girdle inside when you look down inside your stone. And if you have a frosted or unpolished girdle, like that sugary girdle that wasn't faceted, then it can really look very unpleasing. So here's a diagram showing you what it will look like if it's shallow, ideal, or if it's deep. So if you have someone that is offering you a deal for something that weighs a lot more than a carat, but again has that same 6.5 millimeter measurement, then it's too deep. And having something that weighs more, but size-wise looks the same from the top, it's not only a waste, but it compromises the look and the value. So a deep stone is called a nail head. And again, due to the optics, will make the center of your stone look very dark, no matter what color that diamond is. So they can say, I have a great deal on a D-colored diamond, blah, blah, and it's a carat, 15 or something like that. And it has that 6.5 millimeter measurement. So it will look smaller. And then, like I showed you before, if it's deep, it will look darker in the middle. So no matter what color that they said it was. And if it is deep, it may be due to something like a very thick girdle. So the side of your stone can have a very thick girdle. And this is a problem for when you want to set that diamond into your engagement ring or some sort of mounting, because then the prongs go around this really thick girdle and it will never be tight. It will be really difficult to set, and your diamond will always be loose, and you may wonder why. Well, that's the reason why, because you have that thick girdle. So you want to really stay away from a deep stone, especially if it has that thick girdle. There are ways to get a larger look with a single stone and can cost less than a round brilliant. And that is to consider a fancy shape. So what is a fancy shape? I've been saying fancy shape before, but I haven't really said what it is. So fancy shape is any shape other than a round shape, other than that round brilliant cut. So the typical fancy shapes are princess and Asher, which are square. Then you have your pear shape, which is a teardrop. then oval, which is egg-shaped, then marquise, which is eye-shaped, a heart, which is pretty self-explanatory, and then you have radiant and emerald, which are rectangular. So these are a picture of all the different shapes that I've mentioned. And the fancy shapes are very individual. Each person will like something different, and each will look different when you wear them. Oval, pear, and marquise, those tend to look really great on long, thin fingers, because they're long also. So for shorter fingers, like I have shorter fingers, I would stick with princess or Asher, something square. And a radiant or emerald cut, those look pretty nice on both. I wear an emerald cut because I have short fingers and I like the way it looks better than a round. So if you do want a 1 carat that looks larger than a round, then you can choose an oval and pear shape, which ideally measures around 7.5 by 5.5 millimeters. An emerald and a radiant, that will be approximately 7 millimeters by 5 millimeters. And your marquise shape will be 10 millimeters by 5 millimeters. So you're getting that length that is a lot more than that 6.5 millimeter diameter. However, the princess cut, the cushion, and the Asher, all of those square cut stones, those will actually look smaller than your 1 carat round, because the ideal diameter is about 5.5 millimeters. Because when they cut the square stones, their inherent cut is to cut a deeper depth for their maximum optical effects. So those are a little bit deeper, and those have to be a little bit deeper to give you that nice brilliance and that nice shine. As far as value, popularity goes in and out. So in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the trend was to have a marquise-shaped diamond or a pear-shaped diamond, because those looked bigger and everybody wanted bigger. So that was all the rage. Then came the princess and the cushion cut. Those were very popular. And then radiant and Asher became very popular. Now it is oval's turn. The oval brilliant diamond is very high in demand. So you can expect to pay a premium for oval brilliant diamonds. And when it comes to total weight and value of rounds or fancies, if you have, like this scale, if you have one 1 carat diamond, that will cost and be more valuable than if you have 4 1/4 carat or 25 point diamonds equaling 1 carat. And then the 4 1/4 carat equaling 1 carat will be more than if you had 100 1 point diamonds equaling 1 carat. And this is due to rarity of size and the huge difference in price per carat. Like a 1 carat diamond, depending on the color and clarity, that can be around $8,000 to $12,000 per carat. Something that is 25 points or in that range would be about $1,500 per carat. So that's a huge difference between around 10,000 and then you have 1,500. And then if it's a 1 pointer, it'll be about $900 per carat. So you can see the difference in cost and in value. So when it comes to buying your special someone that important engagement ring, is bigger always better? Well, you know her best, or at least you should. So you want to notice a few things and understand a few things. You want to notice the jewelry she already wears. Is it thin and dainty, or is it bigger and more of a statement? What is her personality? Is she shy or is she outgoing? What does she do for a living? Does she wear gloves? Like, is she a nurse or doctor? Or does she teach? Is she a lawyer or a salesperson? You know, what would she be comfortable wearing? How does she dress mostly? In jeans, in a suit, or casually dressed? And what is your lifestyle like? Are you guys a homebody, or do you like going out to the dinner, to a theater, to shows, to parties, things like that? And then the all important question is, how much can you afford? What do you feel comfortable spending? So you have a little homework, and after you watch the rest of my Diamond series, you'll be well on your way to knowing what is right for you and for her. So the other thing to keep in mind when buying and choosing between a round and fancy shape, besides personal taste, is if and when you go to sell your diamond. You shouldn't really buy a diamond automatically thinking, oh, I'm going to sell it. You know, you want to buy something because you like it and you love the person that you're buying it for. But if it does come to that point, I do have a free guide revealing 7 secrets about selling your jewelry. So I'll put a link in the comments for you to get fully knowledgeable before making such a decision, which you really want to avoid. But as a sneak peek, I will tell you that round will always get more. It is always in style and always in demand. As for fancies, it will really depend on what is in style and saleable at that particular time. So my recommendation and my expertise is, instead of selling, you want to save money and that value by transforming it into something different, repurposing it. So pears and marquise will not sell these days, but they will make gorgeous necklaces, or can make a really beautiful freeform ring, or something that's really cool and unique. So if you need any help with transforming jewelry that you may have, and you don't want to sell it, but you want a new piece and something that will look really beautiful, feel free to PM me, and I would be honored to help. And let me know if you have any questions about size or shape, or how to choose the right diamond for you, and I would love to answer them for you. So that's all about size, that's fit to print. And this Sunday, stay tuned to watch about diamond color. So I'm going to be teaching you all about the color of diamonds and how to grade them, so how it's graded in the lab, and what color is right for you. So have a great day, enjoy it, and I'll see you guys on Sunday.